Hello and welcome to British English with me, Alexandre. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Today we're gonna be going through another interesting video. It's a side event, of course, but it's quite a recent video BBC, from BBC British Broadcasting Corporation. As you can see on the screen, we're going to be talking about a sad event that has just happened in London. This article has been published 3 hours ago. We're going to be going through that video today in a slow way, trying to explain the meanings of some words, trying to explain what connected speech is about, talking about elision and all this stuff you need to know to understand English, updated and modern English. Actually, this is basic English because it's on the internet. So you've got to learn to understand how to interpret written English. It's sort of impossible to become fluent in English if you refuse to understand the grammar, those sort of things. It's actually needed to improve your efficiency and fluency in English. But the good point is that it's not difficult to learn grammar, to learn pronunciation, and all these stuff, these things, because there's an effective way to learn all of them in just one go. So we're gonna go firstly through a first nice and calm, relaxed way, reading that short text. And then after that, we're gonna go again through the text in the way that it's normally spoken. Okay, so here we have, we're on BBC News, UK. So we're gonna go through that sad event that has just happened. So here we have in the headline, man armed with crossbow shot dead by police in London. He was killed through an arm. What's a crossbow, by the way? Let's check that out. Crossbow. Crossbow. Let me check that out. Crossbow. This is this site is from Oxford Learners Dictionaries. So let's check what the meaning of that mean. Crossbow basically is that thing here. Crossbow. This is a weapon, right? Crossbow. We got the boat and the crossbow. This is a weapon, right? Okay, let's go back to our news article from BBC. Okay, man armed with crossbow shot dead by police in London. Here we have, police were called. Notice that when we say police, it refers to a group of professionals, a group of officers. We don't use the verb in the singular form like police was, but we use it in the plural because it's referring to an institution. So police, police, not policy, police, police. Police were called just before 5 GMT. Okay, let's check what GMT means here. We've got GMT. GMT. Let's check the pronunciation through Oxford Learners Dictionaries. GMT.
GMT, GMT, GMT.
GMT. GMT. Greenwich Mean Time. The time at Greenwich in England on the line of 0 or 0 degrees longitude, used in the past for calculating time everywhere in the world. So it's a reference, right? Let's go back to our text. Okay, this article has been written by Bethan Bell and Sam Harrison from BBC News. Okay, let's go slowly along the text together with me. A man or a man has been shot dead, has been shot dead by police in South London after reports. Notice, after reports, this is connected to his speech. After reports, he was armed with a crossbow and trying to force his way inside the home. So we've got this man trying to get inside the home. Police was called and he was armed with a crossbow trying to force his way inside the home. That's the reason why police was called. Police were called. The Met Police. Met is the abbreviation for Metropolitan, which the London Police. The Met Police said armed officers were called to the house in Surrey Quays, Southwark, just before 5 GMT. The man, in his 30s, he's 30 years old, reportedly, was allegedly threatening to hurt the people inside. Again, the man in his 30s was allegedly threatening to hurt the people inside. Police said the man had got into the property by water place when he was shot. Bow. He was given first aid. First aid. Notice how I say this. He was given first aid, but died at the scene, at the place. Exactly. Spot on. The Met is trying to contact his family. 2 people in the house are understood to have received minor injuries. Notice how I say that, the final R. Minor injuries. Notice the r sound. The minor injuries. It's quite short. It's quite a short sound. Minor injuries. Insignificant injuries. The R is pronounced shortly, but it's pronounced in that case when it's at the end of a word and then the following one starts with a vowel, like in that case. Armed police took over from local officers after they were threatened. So the first local officers were threatened, that being the reason why armed police took over the scene. A number of, again, a number of, not a number of, but a number of police vehicles remain in front of a cordon selling off the street from the main road. Cordon is that thing here, cordon. This is a cordon, as you can see through that picture. So, a number of police vehicles remain in front of a cordon selling off the street from the main road. Residents here have expressed their disbelief something like this could happen. Again, residents here have expressed their belief something like this could happen. Michael Lang described the shock he felt after leaving his house, saying, "It's fairly peaceful in this area. Nothing like this happens. It's shocking to see this sort of thing." For those living inside the cordoned off area, the isolated area, many have been anxiously watching police activity throughout the day and remain confused about why the initial confrontation happened. Sorry about the barking of the dogs. The dog's barking. Crime scene investigators are at the scene of the shooting. The Independent Office for Police Conduct, IOPC, the Independent Office for Police Conduct has launched an investigation, as is standard when there is a fatal police shooting. DAT is the abbreviation for detective, C8 is the abbreviation for chief, and SUPT is the abbreviation for superintendent. Sab Ajay Ador said, my thoughts are with all those affected by this incident. I understand the local community will be concerned at the events that have taken place this morning. We will fully support the IOPC investigation into the full circumstances of what happened. An IOPC spokesman said investigators had been sent to the scene to begin gathering evidence. Police are trying to contact the dead man's family, the Met said, the Metropolitan Police. Fatal police shootings are relatively rare in the UK, quite difficult to occur, as is alleged here. Just one was recorded last year. Last year. I don't quite pronounce that final T. Not last year, but last year. Last year. It's not pronounced, actually. The most recent Met Police shooting fatality was that of Giedrius Vasilyevas, 40 years old, who was shot at his home in Dagenham, East London, in November after calling 999 to say he had loaded guns and wanted to take his own life. Now what does that mean, 999? Let's check that again. 999. 999.
999.
The phone number used in the UK to call the police, fire or ambulance services in an emergency. For example, dial 999. So if you need some help from the police in the UK, dial 999. Okay, let's go back to our text from BBC. Forensic services. Forensic services are called when there's a crime. It's an investigation. It's a service for crime scene investigation. The shooting has been reported to the IOPC. Okay, you can listen to the best of BBC Radio London on Sounds and follow BBC London on Facebook, X and Instagram. Send your story ideas to hello.bbclondon@bbc.co.uk. Okay, so we've just finished the reading of that text. I hope you've enjoyed it. From my own experience, it's really effective because to increase your vocabulary, for example, to over 5,000 words, I've just found that this is a really effective way to improve vocabulary because to remember the words you say, you've got to know how it's pronounced. So once you know how it's pronounced, your brain sort of memorizes the meaning of the word, and you increase exponentially your vocabulary. And it's not advanced English. It's English from the media. Wherever you are in the world, if you're expected to watch a news article from BBC, it's the British Broadcasting Corporation, you've got to know, you've got to understand what is written there, what is spoken there, and that the way, at least near the the way it's spoken. But it's possible, believe me. Now we're gonna go again through the text, but I'm going to be reading it in a more natural way. Okay, let's go. Men armed with crossbow shot dead by police in London 3 hours ago. Police were called just before 5 GMT. This article has been published by Bethan Bell and Sam Harrison from BBC News. A man has been shot dead by police in South London after reports he was armed with a crossbow and trying to force his way inside a home. The Met Police said armed officers were called to the house in Surrey Quays, Southwark, just before 5 GMT. The man in his 30s was allegedly threatening to hurt people inside. Police said the man had got into the property in Bywater Place. When he was shot, he was given first aid but died at the scene. The man is trying to contact his family. 2 people in the house are understood to have received minor injuries. Armed police took over from local officers after they were threatened. A number of police vehicles remain in front of a cordon sealing off the street from the main road. Residents here have expressed their disbelief something like this could happen. Michael Lang described the shock he felt after leaving his house, saying, "It's fairly peaceful in this area. Nothing like this happens. Nothing like this happens. It's shocking to see this type of thing." For those living inside the cordoned off area, many have been anxiously watching police activity throughout the day and remain confused about why the initial confrontation happened. Crime scene investigators are at the scene of the shooting. The Independent Office for Police Conduct, IOPC, has launched an investigation, as is standard when there's a fatal police shooting. Detective Chief Superintendent Seb Ador said, "My thoughts are with all those affected by this incident. I understand the local community will be concerned at the events that have taken place this morning. We will fully support the IOPC investigation into the full circumstances of what happened." An IOPC spokesman said investigators had been sent to the scene to begin gathering evidence. "Police are trying to contact the dead man's family," the Met said. fatal police shootings are relatively rare in the UK. Just one was recorded last year. The most recent Met Police shooting fatality was that of Giedrius Vasilyevas, 40, who was shot at his home in Dagenham, East London, in November after calling 999 to say he had loaded guns and wanted to take his own life. The shooting has been reported to the IOPC. Okay, we've just finished the reading of that text. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel, share the content to help that project. Um, I have to say this is really effective. Don't believe others. Don't believe people who just want to take your money. This is really effective. You've got to read things out loud. You've got to learn how English is pronounced so your brain can remember the words and you can bring your vocabulary to thousands and thousands of words by studying like that. Nobody said this to me. I discovered it by myself. Please subscribe, enjoy, like it, and I'll be trying to publish weekly videos to help you improve your English and bring it to the highest level. That's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Cheers.